Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into, well, what has to be the most high-stakes, most chaotic managerial transition we've seen in years.
Absolutely.
Michael Carrick. Suddenly, he's the interim head coach at Manchester United. So our mission today is to, filter through the noise. We want to figure out what happened in those first few hours.
Right.
Who's on this surprising new coaching staff.
Yeah.
And what it all means for the future.
The word for it all is urgency. It has truly been a baptism of fire, not just for Carrick, but for everyone.
Yeah.
We know his day started before sunrise. He and his longtime friend, Jonathan Woodgate, were some of the very first people in at Carrington.
And this wasn't just a quick hello. This was an emergency setup from the get-go.
Precisely. The entire new coaching staff was in place by 8:30 in the morning. Players arrived just after 9.
Straight into it.
Straight into a full squad meeting. Carrick had to introduce the new faces, lay down his non-negotiables, his ethos, and just give them some kind of direction.
It's just astonishing how fast they had to move. They don't have a preseason. They don't have weeks of planning.
Yeah.
If you look at the clock, they have, 3 training sessions? 3. Before that first massive test.
It's an almost impossible timeline. And that time constraint is, it's compounded by the challenge of integrating the coaching staff itself.
Right.
The core group, Carrick, Woodgate, Trevor Binion, Johnny Evans. They know each other. There's a familiarity there.
Woodgate's the confidant. Evans brings that dressing room memory.
Exactly. But the name that really defines this whole thing, the name that was the big surprise.
You're talking about Steve Holland.
The big strategic coup.
Yeah, his inclusion isn't just an addition, it feels like a statement. Maybe even a lifeline.
It really is. His history at Chelsea, working with those elite managers, and then, leading England to 4 major tournaments with Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
There's just an incredible pedigree.
But here's the fascinating thing, the real risk.
Yeah.
Carrick and his staff, they've never actually worked with Steve Holland before.
Never. And our sources are clear on this. Getting to know Holland's methods is a huge priority because he's expected to lead training, to take the helm on the pitch.
Okay, so that raises a critical point. If Holland is immediately leading training, doesn't that imply a sort of vote of no confidence in Carrick's ability to run those sessions himself?
It's a very delicate balance.
Is he being supported or is he being overshadowed on day one?
Well, the official line is stabilization. You've got a fledgling coaching staff, so you bring in a heavyweight like Holland to, instantly raise the level.
And what a heavyweight.
Yeah.
He came into Chelsea in 2009 and just worked under this conveyor belt of legends.
The list is incredible. Di Matteo, Benitez, Mourinho, hitting Conte. That tactical knowledge is meant to be the safety net here.
But if we connect that CV to the job now, it raises another question about rhythm, about pace. He's been out of the day-to-day club game for a long time.
For 8 years. And that's a key point. He's been on the international schedule with England. The relentless 7 days a week intensity of club football is a totally different beast.
Right.
So even the great Steve Holland is having to adjust, all while trying to integrate with a brand new team.
All of that has to happen instantly. Because, as you said, the schedule Carrick inherited is less of a welcome mat and more of an ambush.
It's a genuine baptism of fire. You look at the opening games. It starts with the Manchester derby against City. At Old Trafford, Saturday lunchtime.
And that's just the start.
That's just the opener. After that, it's an away trip to Arsenal, who, you could argue are the best team in the league right now. It honestly can't get any tougher.
So if the professional challenge is just maximal, where does this narrative of a no-lose situation for Carrick personally come from?
It comes from the fact that he's an interim, and from his background. First, he knows the club inside out. He gets the politics, the personalities. He's coached there before.
And second, and this feels crucial, he went away and got real managerial experience at Middlesbrough.
That's the key piece of insulation, isn't it?
It is.
That time allowed him to step away from the glare, make some mistakes here and there, and just learn the job. He's coming back a much more polished manager.
So he knows what tweaks are needed.
He knows exactly what's needed. And, the sources confirm he's inheriting a very good squad, better than it was 14 months ago.
You've got players like Bruno Fernandes, Amadil Kuna, who they describe as a genius, and Sesko. There's real talent there.
There is. But even with all that, the club is very clear about what success looks like if he wants the permanent job. It's a dual condition.
Okay, let's break that down. First, the objective measure.
Champions League qualification. That is the bare minimum.
In the second part.
The second part is he has to implement an exciting, recognizable, old-school, Man United style of play.
What do the sources mean by old school style? Is that a specific tactic or just a feeling?
It's both, really. It's the vibe, pace, attack, goals, unbeaten runs, but tactically it means using wide players, being relentless, a style of play that, frankly, hasn't been there consistently.
The style matters as much as the points.
Exactly. To the board and to the fans.
But that sets an almost impossibly high bar. Achieve Champions League football and create a whole new, compelling identity in just a few training sessions.
It's a huge ask. And even if he clears that bar, we have to remember the institutional preference. The long-term plan is almost certainly to look for a coach with a bigger CV.
Like an Ancelotti, a Luis Enrique, a Thomas Tuchel.
The established, proven winners.
Which brings us to the past, really. Why is the club so fixated on that big-name CV? Sources suggest they're desperate to avoid repeating a specific mistake.
That mistake is Ruben Amorim. The feeling inside the club was that the job was just too big for him, not tactically, but managing the whole environment.
What does that mean?
It means he showed a lack of experience and instability, the mixed messages in press conferences. One day he's hyping players up, the next he's overly critical. It created doubt.
So it wasn't about results on the pitch, it was about managing the noise around it.
Exactly. The sources said he was genuinely shocked by the sheer size of it all. The internal politics, the external media scrutiny. They want a manager who is, for want of a better word, noise-proof.
And that institutional fear, that's reflected in public opinion, isn't it?
We
ran a poll.
We did.
Should Carrick get the job if he gets Champions League football? And the result was basically a perfect split.
Yeah.
52% said no, 48% said yes.
Even with success, half the fan base still wants that elite, proven name.
And that focus on the long term brings us to transfers. Specifically, the January window. Does Carrick, as the interim, get to go shopping?
Not really, no. The structure for transfers stays the same. He'll be consulted, of course, but his say won't be massive. His job is to work with the players he has.
And the budget for January is pretty tight.
It's more than tight. They're expected to do little to no business. They missed out on Simino, who went to City, but that was them trying to accelerate a long-term plan. It wasn't a sign that there's short-term cash available.
So the club is sticking to its multi-window strategy. What has that achieved so far, and what's next?
Well, the last window was all about scoring more goals, and that's working. They're 7th in the league, but now they have to address the elephant in the room.
The defensive midfielder.
The desperate long-term need for a central defensive midfield player.
And that's where the big summer money is being saved. We've seen the list of targets. Shal Gomez, Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Carlos Boliv.
And if you look at those names, you see a clear type. They're not just runners, they're technical, deep-lying playmakers who can control a game.
And the price tag for that kind of player is staggering.
It is. You're talking about maybe 80 million pounds each, and the plan is to sign 2 of them. So you're looking at a huge outlay.
So that's the real constraint. It's not just about spending money now, it's about protecting the budget for that long-term plan.
Precisely. They will not spend money in January that could prejudice their ability to secure those big summer targets. Every pound they spend now is a pound they can't use in July.
And even if they did have the money ready to go, there's another problem. The players themselves.
Right. High caliber players, the 80 million pound targets, they're reluctant to sign in January when they don't know who the permanent manager will be.
They want to wait and see the direction of the club.
Exactly. Who's the long-term boss? What competition are they in? It just makes more sense for everyone to wait, which justifies United's quiet January.
Okay, before we get to our final thought, we have to tackle the conspiracy theory, the one that blew up the second Holland was appointed.
Ah, yes. The Gareth Southgate connection.
The rumor that Steve Holland was essentially planted at United so his close friend Southgate could take over in the summer.
It's an easy connection to make, given their success with England.
But what are the sources saying?
They are absolutely categorical. It is categorically not happening. Gareth Southgate is not on United's long-term radar. Holland was brought in for his coaching ability and his pedigree. Full stop.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, watching this all play out?
It means Carrick personally is in a win-win situation. If he fails against this insane schedule, it's forgivable. But if he succeeds, if he gets Champions League football and plays exciting stuff, he's done everything that could possibly be asked of him.
And yet,
Yeah.
That institutional preference for the big, sexy name, the Ancelotis and Tuchels of the world,
Yeah.
that preference is still there. It makes his task of actually getting the permanent job incredibly difficult, even with perfect results.
And that leaves us with a final thought to mull over.
Yeah.
Given the club's desire for an elite manager, but also the very real possibility that they might not have Champions League football to offer them, what happens if their top choices say no? Could Michael Carrick's success make him the only viable high-performance option left by default, forcing the club to abandon its preference and making him the necessary choice, not the preferred one?